Welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another First Division show. We're going to look back at the games last weekend, which was the opening games of the season, and we're going to give our predictions for the games this weekend as well. Keith Ryan's with us and Sean Lean. What's the story, guys? You well?
How are you?
Going grand.
Both winners last weekend as well, of course. But we'll start off in Kerry, where I suppose it was a historic day, Keith, for Kerry FC. First game of the League of Ireland, and it was home as well. But they went down 2-0 at home to Cove Ramblers. O'Brien in 42 and Doherty on 72 minutes as well. Doherty also set up the goal. So, he had a good debut for Cove Ramblers. It was a good win for Cove Ramblers, Keith. Kerry seemed to take a while to get into this game, but they were much better in the second half. So I just wonder if it was a case of a bit of nerves from Kerry in that first half. But I think they'll be happy enough, reasonably happy with the overall display. Obviously disappointed with the result.
Yeah, I mean, we said it last week, didn't we, Keith? Like, Kerry, they don't have anything to prove to anybody. They're new to the league. So, and you have to understand Cove have signed quite well in the off-season as well. So, to go down 2-0 to Cove, and it's near a derby as such. Cork and Kerry next to each other. But look, you can see from obviously Jack Doherty set up the first and then scored the second. So his class really shone that night. And then young Tiernan O'Brien, who's only 19 years of age, so he'll be hoping for a good career in the league. But full house down in Mount Hart Park, and from what I've heard, it was a good occasion. And it's good to see, that the locals are getting behind a new venture. So look, Kerry will build on. They'll try and build on the performance, particularly in the second half. But no shame losing to them at Cove.
Yeah, Sean. I mean, from Cove Ramblers' point of view, I don't think it was never really going to be easy going down to Kerry in your first game of the season. Like as Keith said, it was sold out. And I suppose from Cove's point of view, it would have felt like to put on a professional performance and job done, and gets them off the mark very early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, 3 points is what matters at the end of the day for Cove, really. I mean, it wasn't going to be easy for them. I think I would agree with Keith that Jack Doherty was really the difference between the two teams, setting up the first goal and scoring the second, because in the first half, they were definitely the better team. They had a goal disallowed, I think, after about 8 minutes into the game, something very early like that. So it could have easily been better for them. But then in the second half, when Kerry kind of got settled, they nearly gave away a penalty. I saw the incident. It probably should have been a penalty, but Jack Doherty then went down the other end of the pitch and scored a nice free kick. So I think on the balance of play, Cove, they will be very happy with the overall, both the result and the performance, and puts them in a good position, I think. And we're going to talk about Wexford obviously later, but I think Cove would be very delighted that they fancy themselves going into the next game.
Yeah, Keith finished Treaty United 0, Bray Wanderers 1, Feeney in 89 minutes. I thought this was going to be another 0-0. They've had a few, haven't they, Treaty and Bray? But look, you as a fan, you were down there, weren't you? Yeah. You as a fan must be delighted with that last minute goal. I think Feeney might have been top scorer, if not joint, maybe top scorer last season. So he scored the winner in that game. But generally, how did you feel about the game, and from a Bray perspective? Did you know, in terms of performance and style of play, did you notice anything different already?
Absolutely. First of all, it's just as well it was at the game, because LOI TV's highlights was literally just a goal. Which is disappointing. But in terms of performance, Keith, I looked at the stats. I think Bray made nearly 500 passes in the game, which is really impressive. Because a lot of last year would have been play the ball over the top or play the ball down the line from the centre.
Are we going to see tiki-taka football at the Carlisle this season? Are we?
Look, if we see tiki-taka football and we get results, it'll only benefit Bray. But yeah, Ian Ryan seems to have brought his style in. There was 9 debuts on Friday night for the club, and the Treaty. I've been talking to a couple of Treaty fans during the week, and they thought they edged it. I thought we edged it a little bit. So it was kind of one of those games that was kind of 55-45 almost, either way. So you're sitting in, you you'll feel that you deserve to win the game. I thought I'm not going to try and pronounce the second name, but Cole at centre half for Bray. 19 years of age.
Who, Sean?
Cole Omore Hyunwan. That's, I think, how you pronounce it.
That's not bad. We'll go with that, I think, Keith.
We will go with that. I'm not repeating that.
No, never mind.
But fantastic performance, and a fantastic performance in the sense that there wasn't really massive chances for Treaty, but where he needed to, he blocked, he headed. So, and he was my man of the match. That would almost suggest that Treaty were on top, but they weren't. It's just anytime the ball fell to him, he cleared it or he blocked it. And Ian Ryan would be delighted. It's always good to get a last minute goal, particularly when it's a winner. And it's a good start. Last season, we'll try and put that into the waste dump. So 3 points and we're off the mark.
Yeah, I suppose Sean Tree should be a little bit disappointed. Obviously, very disappointed losing it late, but disappointed that they lost their first game of the season at home. But I suppose like Bray probably should be a better side than they were last year. They couldn't be any worse. A lot of people suggest anyway.
Yeah, but it is kind of a bad omen for Treaty because they really were hanging on for large periods of the game. I think Bray were better for really throughout the whole 90 minutes. And especially with what went on during the week and losing Ryan Connolly to unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah.
It's really they've signed Alec Byrne there from I think he was at Cove after he left Cork, but I don't know is he going to be as good as Ryan Connolly? And with all the other teams strengthening in the first division, I figured they might get a draw in this game. I figured if they got a draw, it wouldn't be that surprising. But the fact that they couldn't do that and that they were holding on for so long in this game really doesn't bode well for them.
No, it doesn't. The finish Finn Harps 1, Galway United 2 at Finn Park. And obviously Finn Harps' first game in the first division. New management, Dave Rogers is in there. I believe Ali Horgan got booked in this game for Galway. Borden scoring 2 goals in his debut for Galway. Rainey scored a penalty for Finn Harps. Awful weather up in Finn Park. So I think, Keith, awful conditions up in Finn Park. Galway would be absolutely delighted going there and nicking the 3 points, because no matter what people say, it is genuinely will not be an easy place to go and get a result and win, certainly this season. So they'd be delighted with that start, Galway, and badly needed after, I suppose, the end of last year, let's say.
Yeah, like, Keith, even if the sun is cutting the stone down the road, I think it's still a tough place to go.
Yeah,
I don't know what happens to the pitch up there, but it always seems to be just sludgy and slodgy. And John Caulfield would be absolutely delighted. Look, it's a typical John Caulfield result as well. Like, your centre half scores 2 goals. It's and then obviously Rainey from the penalty spot. Yeah. But like, it's so hard to analyse a lot of teams so early on the season. Finn Harps, I believe, did they have 11 debuts?
I believe they had 11 new players in the field to play. Yeah.
So, like, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Rogers is building something there, and he's trying to do it his way, and try and kind of loosen the shackles that Ollie Horgan may have had on the team over the last few years. So, look, as I say, early days, but Galway would be delighted, particularly with the Waterford results, because I think both of those clubs have to kind of stay in each other's coattails for the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, Finn Harps couldn't be too disappointed with that. As we said, like 11 new players playing. They're trying to change the style of play. And by the way, it's difficult to do what Rogers is trying to do if the conditions aren't the best, by the way. That's the other side of it. And you could see why, I was going to say you could see why Finn Harps could revert to type. But then again, if they've 11 new players on the pitch, they're a completely different team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as Keith said, it's so hard to analyse them at this stage of the season. This is our first competitive game, and with 11 new players on the pitch, it's going to take a while for things to gel. They didn't have a great pre-season, and I thought, to be honest, when I heard that they equalised and scored a penalty, I was kind of surprised that it clicked for them that early on. But I think that the Finn Harps board knew what Dave Rogers was going to do, so I think they'll have a bit of faith in him, and I think the players Dave Rodgers has brought in the advantage of bringing in so many new players, that they're players he wants. He trusts them to play a certain way, and I think they're going to stick to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Finished in the Southeast Derby, Wexford FC 0, Waterford FC 3. Wazim with a hat-trick in this game. I'll start off with you, Keith, with this one as well. But from a Wexford point of view, little bit surprising, the heaviness of the defeat.
Yeah, I was quite shocked. We were in the stand in Marketsfield, and as the goals went in, we're like, bloody hell, there was so much expectation with Wexford in the off season, and for Waterford to go there and score 3 goals and keep Wexford to 0 as well, quite impressive.
And 2 of them after 12. Sorry, 2 of them before the 12th minute. So
Yeah. The notification were coming through on the phone. You're like, bloody hell, who scored? And Waterford, and it's fantastic for Wasim as well. He probably has to, and Sean, I don't know if he'll agree, he probably has to take the mantle this season with Phoenix gone and Junior gone as well. There's goals to be scored, and I know they've brought in Lua, who came on after 70 odd minutes. So but really impressive for Waterford. I must say, fantastic crowd. I know it's delayed by 20 odd minutes or something, but fantastic to see such a big crowd there as well, and throughout the league. But Wexford, James Keddy, they just have to kind of clean their boots and go next week, because you can't fall behind too much in this league, and after such a poor result, the next result needs to be a positive one. So,
Sean, what did you make of the Waterford performance overall?
Well, look, take nothing away from the Blues. I mean, they were excellent. Wasim was obviously the man of the match. It's hard to pick anyone else when you score 3 goals. But Barry Bagley in midfield and Dean McMenemy started slow, but really got into the game as it went on. Even after we scored the 2 goals, we didn't score. I mean, it took us a while to score the third one, but it really could have been 5 or 6-0. I mean, I can't believe how poor Wexford were. I don't like denigrating other teams like that, but I mean, it was a really poor performance. They were defensively all over the place. The keeper they had for the first goal in particular, it was a really soft. I couldn't believe it when it went in. But going back to our performance, I mean, look, you can only play who's in front of you, and as far as that one, a great performance all around. And then Niall O'Keefe came off the bench. Thomas Alua came off the bench as well. Both of them played really well. Thomas Alua could have been played in a few times. Shane Griffin came off the bench as well, but he hasn't been playing so much. He's a bit rusty. Some of the passes were underhit or overhit. It could have been another goal there. But yeah, I mean, 3-0 is really, I thought it was, I mean, look, you're obviously delighted. It's a clean sheet. It's 3 goals in the derby away from home to start the season. You can't have any complaints. Although, it could have really been a lot more very easily.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Brilliant start from Waterford. El Clasico on Saturday, Longford Town 1, Athlone Town 3, and this has to be the surprise of the weekend, doesn't it? Darragh Lynch scoring on his debut for Longford to equalise, Perot scoring twice for Athlone, Campion Hines scoring the other goal. Perot was sent off for a second yellow after celebrating, but I don't know about yous, but did he actually take off his shirt? I couldn't see the evidence that he took off his shirt. Maybe he did, but he got a second yellow for apparently taking off his shirt, but I thought he lifted up his shirt and showed something.
Yeah, it looked like that.
It's a bit weird. For me, it's a bit pinicky anyway. Come on, but massive result for Athlone. I don't think anyone was really expecting this. And Longford tonight, by the way, had a poor result against Crumlin as well, or the other night in the what they call the Leinster Senior League as well. So you'd wonder, are Longford starting slowly? But a fantastic win for Athlone Town here, Keith.
Yeah, again a surprise. Athlone, they're like the world selection of the League of Ireland, aren't they? They've so many different nationalities in that team. But with the signings that Longford made, you would have expected a little bit more from them. I know Stephen Henderson in his post-match interview was fuming, absolutely fuming with the results, with the performance. One of the positives was Darragh Lynch is off the mark for them, which is important because they'll be looking to him this season to get the goals that will help to push them up the league. Again, James Donnelly, their media officer, I think he is, said it was quite a good crowd, over 1,500 there, which is positive. So the only downfall to that is that you've lost 3-1 to your local rivals. You know, if you have a good crowd, you're obviously looking for a positive result, to bring them back the following week or the week after. But look, Athlone, I've written down that they could surprise teams this season, and they seem to surprise Longford on Saturday night.
That result surprised you, Sean?
Yeah, it did. It did all right. I mean, there was I did have doubts about Longford and how long it would take them to click, but I expected them to get a result.
They also brought
here
back
at home
Irvin during the week as well, which is a great signing. You know what I mean?
They did, yeah. Yeah, it was a huge signing, local lad, and it seemed like they're really going to go for it this season. But the second goal in particular, I mean, I thought the defending was really poor. Piero got in, and I don't think there was anybody marking him. But it was just really the perfect combination of things, because Enda Minogue also saved the penalty for for Athlone as well. So it was really as bad as it could have gone for them. I don't really. I mean, as we said earlier, it's very early to be analysing teams. I don't know what this says about Athlone or Longford. This could just be a freak result. But pair with that result in the Leinster Senior Cup there, it could be a long season for Longford.
Yeah.
In fairness, for the Leinster Senior Cup, I think they had. I think a lot of the 19s are playing, so it's hard to analyse.
No, well, that could be fair, yeah.
True. We'll analyse them for this week, though. But we'll start off with Athlone Town and Finn Harps. What are you saying here, Keith?
I'm going to go for a draw here. I think Harps put it up to Galway for a period of the game the other night, and Athlone coming off the back of a 3-1 result. So I've gone for a draw. I just think games early on. I keep going back to it. It's so hard to decide what way it's going to go. You're kind of looking 10, 12 games in, and
you also need to see the new players that come into the teams as well,
100%, and as we already discussed, Harps 11 debuts, so how and Athlone are the same, they've a couple of new lads that have come in, so it's I think a draw, and I think a high scoring draw. I think I'll go for 2-2 here.
Sean?
Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. I'd say a draw. I'd say we'll see goals. I'm kind of little bit influenced. I think if you gave me this game at the start of the season, I would have said Harps would have won. But after last week's results, I think Athlone would be bumped up to a draw. Might even nick it. You never know.
Full house. I'm going for a draw as well. So Bray Wanderers and Kerry FC, Keith.
Look, great result on Friday. I think we need to build on that. You're playing the new team in the league who are coming off the back of a negative result. Again, Ian Ryan won't know what he's playing. So tactically, how do you, or if he has analysts or whatever, how do you set up against a team that you've never seen play before? So look, I think Bray have enough in reserve to get a positive result on Friday. Luka Lovitz came off the bench, who's been suffering injury last couple of weeks. We still have Darren Craven to come back later on, and Webster as well. So, I think a couple of the players from Wexford last season played well the other night. Crowley played fantastic in the middle of the park for Bray. And Leno Sullivan was fantastic at left back as well for Bray. So I think I'm going to go for a 2-0 to Bray here. I just don't think Kerry will have enough, and they're kind of just looking to because they've never played together before in their lives, so they're just looking to get and to build on coming into the league as such, and hoping that maybe later on, a couple of games in, that they can get their team together. And but yeah, I think Bray will be too strong. So 2-0 for me.
Sean?
Yeah, it's a big step up for Kerry playing Bray, who were one of the favourites this year in the first division. And Billy Dennehy said that one of the things that might have had an impact on their slow start on Friday was that they're not used to playing in front of crowds. And you'd expect that there's going to be a crowd for Bray's first home game of the season. So I think that could have an impact as well. I mean, if they got a goal in this game, that'd be a great thing for them to get their first goal in the League of Ireland. I don't expect them to be competitive. I think Bray could get a few. It'd be interesting to see how many away fans they bring as well. I think Ian Ryan really just has to play the way he wants to play, and gamble on the fact that that's going to work due to the sort of lack of any information that exists really. about Kerry and the way they play.
Yeah, I think full house again. Bray for me as well. I think it'd be comfortable for Bray, but I don't think it'll be hammering, to be honest with you. Cove Ramblers and Wexford. I think that's an interesting one given the results last weekend. Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, Keith, before the season, if you had have asked me this match, I would have went Wexford win because of their off it's signings during the off season. Sorry, you couldn't get the out. But Cove, a fantastic result down in Kerry, and who knows, like that result could bode well for them later on the season. Teams may go to Kerry and falter. Cove have been there first time and they've got a 2-0 win. So look, it's going to be interesting. Jack Doherty's up against his old club. I don't know why he left or what happened there, but to me, I'm going to go for a draw here. I think Wexford will need to get something out of the game, given the result last week. And, the Wexford fans will be looking for a bit of a kickback as well. So, Cove at home, hopefully they have a good crowd for their first home game. But, again, I think a 1-1 draw to me here.
How do you see it, Sean?
I think a draw is probably fair. Favouring Cove a little bit. But I think, for this one, it a draw. I think Wexford just had an off day really last Friday. I wouldn't expect that to be their form for the whole season with the players that they have. If it is, it'd be a disaster. Cove, I think Cove could get a good crowd for this game. That always helps. And there's certainly no fluke about them winning away to Kerry. I mean, they've got good players, as we've talked about already. So I think a draw is fair. I think we could see a few goals in this one, if we're lucky, maybe even a 3-3 or something like that. That'd be great. But a draw, I think is what I'm going to go for.
I was going to go for 6-6, but anyway. Full house, though. I was going to go for a draw as well. So I think we have a full house in all of them so far, which means they'll all be wrong. Galway United and Treaty, Keith.
After seeing Treaty the other night and given Galway got a good result in Harps, I think I'll go for a Galway win here. Again, like Tommy Barrett's side didn't play poorly on Friday night, but they didn't.
Did they create anything? No.
Not a lot of chances, to be honest with you. There was a few half chances. Alex Moody made a save in the first half, a fantastic save. So, he wasn't really troubled that much. So, Enda Curran would be disappointed that he didn't get the service that he would like. But I think Galway, I tipped them to be second at the start of the season. I think they'll give Waterford a run for their money this season. And I think comfortably Galway will win this game. Probably 2 or 3-0. Sorry, Treaty fans.
Sean?
I think it could be 1-0 to Galway. I think this is going to be a very terrible game to watch. I think it could be very dour. But
especially if the weather's cold.
It does. Especially if it starts raining or something like that. But I mean, it's hard to see Galway not winning this game, especially with the disappointment the Treaty have had in recent weeks, and the performance against Bray doesn't seem to indicate that they have a lot going forward. But I mean, it's and especially with Galway having a good result there up in Finn Park, you'd favour them to win. I just don't think they're going to create a lot of chances. I think they'll win only 1-0 even or 2-1. But I still think they will be dominant. Like they'll defend really well. Treaty won't get much out of them, and the one chance that they get maybe is from a Treaty mistake. That could be all they need.
Yeah, I'll go for Galway as well. So again, a full house, but one of the defenders will score, and put my money on Killian Browder to score. So Waterford and Longford, Keith.
Waterford, again, they took these to win the league. I think they'll be up there. I think it's a great second game for them, given the results that Longford had at the weekend. Whereas at the start of the season, you might have been saying, it's a tricky start for Waterford, Wexford away and then Longford at home. But I mean, Sean knows Longford have been down there last season and they've got results. So, you just never know. But I think they're too strong. Sean said he had Niall O'Keefe on the bench on Friday night. And it's fantastic to have players that can come off the bench that would normally start or will probably normally start, So I think Alua to have him coming off the bench, he's electric, really. You know, his pace.
Powerful as well, though. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Wasim will be kind of flying the crest of a wave as well after his hat trick. So I believe it was his first career hat trick. So, you know, Waterford, I think 2, possibly 3-0. I just don't think Longford will offer very, very much going forward.
Sean, how are you seeing it?
Yeah, I'd agree with Keith. Got Killian Cantwell to come back into the squad as well. He was suspended for the Wexford game. But I mean, I don't know how that's don't know if that really affect the game at all. Be a bit more defensively solid, I guess. But yeah, there's a few players. I think this is going to be good. What I'm going to look for is that we see more of what's on the bench. We see there was a few players, weren't couldn't get out of first gear there against Wexford. So I'd be looking for a few more improved performances, but much of the same. Like if it was the same as last Friday night, like can't have any complaints really. And from Longford, from what I've seen of them, haven't been great. So I think this is a game we should be really looking to win.
I'm not just saying this to be different for the first time, but I have this weird feeling Longford will dig deep and get a point out of the game. I just have a strange feeling. So yeah, be interested to see.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
The new Bray Wanted Sports Club, the 1985 Seagulls. If anyone's interested, they're running the Last Man Standing League of Ireland edition. So you can contact them on Twitter. Their handle is @1985 Seagulls. You can contact them on Twitter. So it's just to raise money for supporters, but it's going to away matches and stuff like that.
Brilliant. Fair play to you, Keith. Look, guys, thanks for coming on. And guys at home, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments. Give us a few predictions. Subscribe. Hit your bell notification button. Thanks again. Brilliant, guys. Thank you.